Hey guys, Keaton here with TechSmart, and the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5 was debuted a few weeks ago in New York City and at Mobile World Congress. Now it brings a lot of new features to the table, such as being IP67 certified, a 5.1-inch display, 4K video capabilities, and so much more. I definitely think it's a differentiating factor if you want to go ahead and upgrade from the Galaxy S4 to the Galaxy S5. And personally, I am very excited to go and check out the Galaxy S5. So without further ado, here are my top 7 favorite features in no particular order on the brand new Samsung Galaxy S5. So kicking it off, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is fast AF. No, literally, it has a fast autofocus, which is 0.3 seconds, and that's crazy, especially when you're taking pictures rapidly and you want to make sure your subject's definitely in frame and it's crystal clear and it's not blurry, because every once in a while I'll take a blurry picture and it's just super annoying. So it features a 16 megapixel camera on the rear and a 2 megapixel camera on the front, and both of these cameras look fantastic. I wouldn't say it's much more of a noticeable upgrade that you could see from the Samsung Galaxy S4 with a 13 megapixel camera on the back, but it's definitely noticeable, and where it really shows is within the video side of the phone. So the Samsung Galaxy S5 can shoot up to 4K video, also known as Ultra HD, which is the resolution of 3840 by 2160. And when I was at the event, taking 4K video, you couldn't really see it because I think it was the lighting, but when you go and upload it to a platform like YouTube or you review it after the fact, it looks absolutely fantastic. Details are so crisp and clear, and I really think a lot of people are going to start to use their mobile phones to shoot much more video than we've seen in the past, because we've kind of been restricted to 1080. So while the phone boasts a lot of cool features on the outside for the camera department, most of the cool stuff is going to be featured on the inside within the software. So it features real-time HDR and selective focus, which pretty much means if you're taking a picture, so you say this is your phone right here and you're taking a picture, you can go and tap on the screen to focus in on a certain subject versus just having it kind of guess where you want to take the picture and what the object is within your picture. And I think this is great because when I was using it at the event, I was able to focus in on things that typically with past smartphones wasn't really possible, and it was kind of it had that blurry kind of effect, also known as bokeh in the background. So I'm really happy for this feature mainly, but one question I do have is, does the 4K video feature image stabilization? I know with the Galaxy Note 3 it does shoot 4K at 15 frames per second, and it doesn't feature image stabilization, and it kind of just defeats the entire purpose. So I think there'll be image stabilization on the 1080p side, but I would love to know if it comes on the 4K video side. So up next here is the heart rate scanner. So I'm pretty skeptical on this because I've had a lot of heart rate scanners in the past for when I just want to go work out, run, do a sport, all the shebang. And they haven't all worked for me. And typically I'll just go ahead and count. I'll just count to 10 seconds and count how many beats are going on just by going like this, testing your pulse essentially. And when I was testing this out and just holding my finger on the back of the phone, not only was it comfortable and it really wasn't that intruding, but it was very accurate. I started to do my little counting of the pulse in 10 seconds thing, and it was pretty much spot on, maybe plus or minus 3 beats per minute. And I'm very happy for this feature. I didn't think this was going to be a feature I wanted a lot, but when I'm running, I don't want to have to take around an extra accessory or have to wear a special bracelet or a smartwatch to kind of go ahead and calculate my heart rate. Having it just be accessible on the back of my phone is very fantastic, and I think that's something I'll be definitely optimizing a lot more. And plus, this is going to give a lot more fitness applications a new light, and I'm very happy that Samsung is going to allow developers to kind of take advantage of this heart rate sensor, not only just in S-Health, but to kind of give you cool applications that calculating your heart rate is needed for. So moving on here, it's the fingerprint scanner. So we saw this on Apple's iPhone 5S, and this wasn't the first encounter we've had with a fingerprint scanner or just identifier, as it was found in the Motorola Atrix, and that's the earliest phone I can remember that did feature similar technology, and I think it worked pretty well. I had the phone, I owned the phone for about a month, and that's the greatest memory I could have with it. I don't really remember too much after I was able to get into the phone with the fingerprint scanner, but while using the phone, I felt that it wasn't as intruding as I initially went in there thinking, but I just cannot get over the fact that you have to swipe down on the home button to access it. I use an iPhone as my daily driver, at least as one of my daily drivers, and just being able to place my finger on the home button, it's a lot more seamless, and it's just so much more quicker than having to swipe down. Now that's just me. Maybe you're a person who likes to go and place their finger on the screen and then swipe down and access the home button. I just didn't really feel like it was too comfortable. Granted, I can get used to it. I just tested the phone out for about an hour and a half at the event. So I think after owning it for a week or so, I'll be able to kind of adapt to the fingerprint scanner. But getting to the whole moral of this story here is it works. It works pretty damn well. I was 3 for 3. I tried it 3 times. I would lock the phone and I was able to get into it 3 times. And what's really cool about this is the fact that Samsung is opening the API to developers to take advantage of the fingerprint scanner. And I think this is cool for a lot of applications that typically just were based off of passwords. Now you can go ahead and just have your fingerprint in there and keep it a lot more secure and not have to always remember passwords. I know for some people that use special applications that just give you random passwords. This could just serve as a new medium and you always have it on your hand, at least unless you got it like taken off. But one of the things they debuted there is now you're able to log in on PayPal, at least from the Samsung Galaxy S5 with the fingerprint sensor. So I keep some funds on PayPal and sometimes I just don't want to enter the password in or I'm kind of afraid someone might have it. So just being able to use my fingerprint is the best thing about it. So overall, this is one of the features I was pretty skeptical about on just having to access it itself, but I think it's something I could adapt to in a few weeks. So battery life has always been a big thing for me on devices. If your device doesn't have its battery charged, there's no juice left in the battery, you're not going to be able to use your device. It's dead simple. So the Samsung Galaxy S5 features a 2800 milliamp hour battery, and that's a step up from the Samsung Galaxy S4. But keep in mind here, there are other smartphones on the market that feature a 3000 milliamp hour battery and even in some cases higher than that, which is just absolutely ridiculous because you can actually start to use your phone for more than a day's worth of use. And that's more than 8 hours because that's what I typically gauge a day's use because that's my standard day. So while I think the battery life is kind of still limited on the Samsung products, at least just with the Galaxy S, fill in the number, I don't think it's horrible, but one of the cool features that they debuted there was ultra power saving mode. So what this does is instead of emitting all the pixels to certain colors just to be able to access like the dialer or just certain features, it actually will switch that around and convert them to just black and white and make it an e-ink display. So this will not only save you battery life, but if you only have a few percent battery left and you need to go and make a call or send that text message asking for someone to go run to Best Buy and pick up a product, you can go ahead and do that because it will not be powering the display as heavily as it would be in full color. So overall, while I think the battery life has improved, I would like to see with the next edition for it to feature at least a 3000 milliamp hour battery. So this next feature is a feature we kind of could expect with the Samsung Galaxy S5, as a lot of smartphones, at least in the 2014 year, have become more rugged. So the fact that it is water resistant and IP67 certified is pretty fantastic. The 6 and IP67 certified means it's completely dust proof, and the 7 means it's water resistant from 15 centimeters up to 1 meters for 30 minutes. So while I'm not a person to go swimming with my iPhone or take it in the shower, this can now be possible. I wouldn't intentionally do it, but in case it does get wet at some point in time, you don't really have to fret. And I think this is cool. I like how it's dust proof, but the thing I'm not a big fan on is the fact that over the USB 3.0 charging port, there's a flap, and that's very cumbersome. And did I put the flap on and I got it wet? You always have to kind of do that double check, because if you submerge this in water or any type of substance and the flap wasn't on, you can pretty much bet your bottom dollar that that phone is just trashed. I know because I've done it before, and it's not fun trying to remember if the flap was on. And even with the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active and it featured a similar flap, you're not always notified when the flap is closed, but with this model, the Samsung Galaxy S5, you'll know if the flap is closed, so that's nice. They've kind of bumped up that feature. But overall, I think the IP67 certification is kind of one of those nice-to-have features, not one of those essential need-to-have features on a new smartphone. So moving to one of my favorite features on this device, it's the display. So with the S4, we featured a similar technology as it was 1080p capable, and while I was really hoping for it to be a 2K display, I don't think it'll happen this year. Some smartphones are rolling out 2K displays, but it is a 5.1 inch Super AMOLED 1920 by 1080 display, and it looks absolutely magnificent. So the S4 featured a 4.99 inch display, and that's great and all, but the S5 features a 5.1 inch display, so for that extra 0.1 inches, I was able to actually optimize it to a lot of things I wasn't able to do on the S4, such as the camera. So when you're taking pictures, having a bigger viewfinder is nice because you're able to see all the detail in there, and you just don't ever ask yourself, how'd that little piece get into the photo when you weren't taking it with just a standard 4.99 inch viewfinder. I know it's a small little thing, but trust me, when you're taking pictures, a bigger viewfinder is always better, as long as the megapixel count can cooperate. So overall, I'm a big fan of the display on the device, and I definitely think it's probably my #1 most wanted feature on any device, just to have a nice big bright display and have the size of it be nice and pleasant. So rounding out the video here, and this is one of the features a lot of consumers really focus on, it's the hardware. So instead of a slimy, slippery back we had with the Samsung Galaxy S4, we have a sort of semi-perforated leatherette backing, but it's not the exact same backing that we do find on the Galaxy Note 3. It's got this nice premium feel that does feel a lot better than the plastic, but it doesn't feel like real leather, so there's a plus to that because that would feel really weird on a smartphone. But I just felt like when I was holding it in my hands, it felt a lot more solid than the S4 did, and that was something I truly do notice on a phone. When I pick the phone up with the HTC One, for example, I kind of just have this trigger in my head that when it's made out of metal, it feels solid. But when it's made out of plastic, it doesn't feel as solid. But with Samsung's leatherette backing, I kind of tricked my mind into thinking that this phone felt really solid. And trust me, it does in the hand, and I don't think I would complain about it as a consumer because it will hide those minor scratches you get, and it's definitely fingerprint proof over the Samsung Galaxy S4's plastic backing. So moving on from there, it's the colors. People always want to know about the colors. So the 4 they debuted there, and we'll kind of go on to this in just a little bit. They debuted black, white, blue, which is the most normal looking alongside with the white, and then they released a gold, which again looks like a complete Band-Aid, but on Samsung's website the gold one is nowhere to be found on there, so maybe they revoked it completely. I wanted to get it because it looked like a Band-Aid, and what's cooler than a Band-Aid looking smartphone? There's nothing cooler than that. So the colors are pretty cool. I think the blue is definitely what will take most consumers by surprise, as it just is a nice, pleasant looking blue. It's definitely unisex, so any type of gender could rock it, if that's a big thing for you. But I'm kind of disappointed they didn't come out with more colors, because I know Samsung in the past kind of has done that with their smartphones, at least with the Galaxy Note line, but I think that's where they're really going to take it with their accessories and the official cases they're coming out with. And just the last point here, I'm really surprised by how thin smartphones have become and the weight of it. So the S5 comes in at just a little bit over 5 ounces and is about 8.1 millimeters thick or thin, depending on if you look at the glass half full or half empty. And it feels great in the hands. That's all I'm really trying to tell you guys here. It has a nice weight to it to where it feels solid. It doesn't feel cheap, especially with the backing, and it's very thin, so it's going to fit into a pocket nicely, and it's not going to feel like you're holding a brick for a phone. Thank you guys so much for watching this video where we discussed my top 7/best features on the Samsung Galaxy S5. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop me a like down below and drop me a comment down below letting me know if any of these features are in your top list of things when you are looking to buy a smartphone, because I truly do think the Samsung Galaxy S5 has a lot to bring to the table in the 2014 market. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel to be updated when we produce a brand new video, and trust me, we have a lot of Samsung Galaxy S5 coverage coming your way, so just subscribe, and there's a link right below that like button, and you'll be notified when I produce a brand new video. Thank you guys once again, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye bye.